Welcome in everybody to Leading Off right here on Fantasy Pros. It is me, Joey P. Joe Pisapia. That is Dinger Dan Harris, and it's you. Happy Monday, everybody. We hope you had a nice weekend, and for all the moms out there, we know you're big fans of the show. We want to wish you a happy Mother's Day, belated, but we hope you had a lovely day where you enjoyed things and people waited on you. And for those of you who were watching baseball, certainly an eventful weekend, and those of you playing fantasy baseball, a lot going on as well. We had some no-hitters again, and some crazy injuries to get to. Dan Harris, how'd your teams make it out of the weekend? Do you have like the MASH unit there sitting for you on Monday, or do you actually have some guys left who are alive to play?
The good thing about having like 85 teams is that at some point you have guys to play. Don't worry about it. Like you're looking around, there's at least one or two teams that are surviving. But yeah, this is the new reality. No, you mentioned it. No hitters. The no hitter, man, is getting cheapened, right? Like this is just, it's like, oh, you threw a no hitter? Great. So did my grandmother the other day. It's too much at this point. But yeah, I survived. Bought low on Kyle Tucker coming into the weekend before the weekend. So I'm feeling pretty good right now.
There you go. There you go. We tell you buy in. Also, Francisco Lindor, Signs of Life. I remember this conversation on Friday. This is a very interesting conversation we have and I even wrote about it on the Feature Pros article on FantasyPros.com. Hey, go back and look. He's a slow starter anyway, and a little bit of extra pressure with a giant contract. Oh, by the way, also in New York City, take a deep breath. It'll be fine. Looks like it's going to be fine. Well, at least for Lindor, maybe not for the Mets. But let's do some 3 up, 3 down. The White Sox sweep the Royals. This is good because when you lose Robert, you lose Jimenez, you lose all these players. This pitching that they've got is really something, and that's going to be the thing that's going to keep them afloat, is that pitching staff and the depth of that pitching staff. Not only guys at the top like Giolito and Lynn, but Rodon has been a revelation, and of course Dylan Cease, who's pitched very well over his last 3 starts too. Oh yeah, and they got that Kopech kid who throws 1,000 miles an hour. Wainwright, dominant again against Colorado. He owns the Rockies in his career. Incredible numbers. Waino continues to be great. And the the Dodgers dropped their 5th straight. That's 2-8 over the last 10. Now, I put this in up because, if you hate the Dodgers, this is kind of fun. So that's why I put it in the up. I thought maybe that would be a good time there for some of you.
Sure.
But look, it's probably a down for the Dodgers, but up for the Padres. It's up for the rest of the National League. So what do you take out of this recent Dodger dog run?
Surprising. It really is. I don't fully get it. They're relatively healthy. Obviously, they lost Dustin May and everything like that, but it's a little bizarre. Even that game, where they were dominating the Angels, and they're yelling at whoever it was, Taylor Ward or Jared Walsh, maybe whoever bunted when they were down 13-1, and Kershaw and Roberts are getting all upset, and then they hold on by the skin of their teeth, man. I don't know. It's really surprising. My guess is that they will right the ship, and I have started stashing, by the way, Tony Gonsolin. That is somebody who I picked up this weekend. Yes. To sort of get on there because he's a guy we liked coming into the year. They need that 5th starter. I don't really trust that's going to be David Price. The Wainwright thing, Wainwright's oddly pitching well. I'm not really buying into it, but I think the bigger point is, Joe, and I think this is something you and I talk about a little bit, especially with DFS, is when you've got the Rockies on the road or anything like that, like you start your pitchers pretty much against them outside of Coors Field.
A lot of swing and miss there with the Rockies. We've been talking about it all season long. And I think the Dodgers' problem is they miss Cody Bellinger in the middle of that order. It's real baseball talk here, kids. Get her by the fire. Uncle Joe's going to tell you a story about how real baseball works. See, when you don't have the guy in the middle of the order that you have to fear, and this is no offense to Justin Turner or Max Muncy, they're very good players, but they ain't Cody Bellinger. And we take that guy to the middle of the order, all of a sudden it becomes very easy to manipulate through an order. And it's something that, look, the Dodgers are going to be fine. The Dodgers are probably going to still win 90-plus games. It's just a bad stretch, but it is a bad stretch. It's something to be aware of. Let's do 3 down. Jacob deGrom pitched on Sunday for a while, and then he came out with that same side tightness. And yes, oh, goodness gracious. He's going for an MRI today. Fingers crossed. I'm going to go light a candle in whatever nearby church is around me and see how that works out. The Pirates move Brian Hayes to the 60-day IL. And this is now 4 no-hitters in 6 weeks. And I put this in the down, not because it's Wade Miley, but because, I joked with Matt Stryker, who's going to be on our Betting Pro show tomorrow talking baseball. So if you have wagering and you want to do a little BP wagering kind of stuff, go check out that show this week. But we joked after the first 2 no-hitters, what's the over-under? And we said at 2.5 for more no-hitters, and we both took the over. Yeah. And it's only May 10th, and we're already at 2. So we just need 1 more to get over that. And to me, it's very simple. It's about one thing. Nobody changes their approach with 2 strikes. Nobody does. 2 strikes, everybody's still trying to swing for the fences. Everybody's trying to launch their angles and all the kinds of crap they're trying to do. When you have 2 strikes, especially as you get into the 5th and 6th inning, nobody is changing their approach. And I don't want Rafael Devers or Mike Trout or, Freddie Freeman to change their approach. What I want is the other guys in the lineup to start changing their approach, and they don't do it with 2 strikes, and this is why you have these no-hitters happening more than anything. John Means is a very good pitcher. He is not Max Scherzer, okay? I just want to put that out there. He is not Shane Bieber. Wade Miley is certainly not those guys, and yes, there's been guys in the past who have thrown no-hitters. I love the story of the Incredible Hulk tattoo. Did you see that? His Wade Miley's son put a Hulk tattoo on there. And if that's all it took, he should get the entire Avengers and maybe he can, have the rest of the season be pretty good. But that's my take on the whole no-hitters. I think it's bad for baseball, as fun as it is to see. But nobody changes their approach, Dan.
Yeah. I like that you've it should almost be a segment, Joe's daily rant on whatever is bothering you that day. Well,
everybody seems to enjoy it. So despite my Muppet persona that I've taken on.
That was very funny. First of all, remember, there's really technically 5, right? Because the 4 doesn't even count Madison Bumgarner's 7-inning one, right? So there's could be 5. I mean, it's 4 officially. Wade Miley is, he's got a 2 ERA. And an 0.75 whip. I'm not buying that necessarily, and I'm not going to start Wade Miley. I'm just not. I'd rather watch him succeed all year. But yeah, I don't know. This is a new era. Mike Mayer putting in the comments, one of our buddies over there, that the MLB average with 2 strikes right now is 156. Yeah, I don't get it.
I didn't need a stat to tell me that. I see it with my eyes.
But Mike Mayer always
backs us up. Thank you, Mike, for backing me up with the numbers so that my rants only sound semi-insane instead of completely. But it's just true. It's just, you see it every single time. 2 strikes, you got an 0-2 count, a 1-2 count, guys behind. 0 change in approach. Not looking for contact, not looking to put the ball in play, not looking to do anything except, I'm going to dominate just shut up and choke up and do something, put the ball in play. My God. All right, let's talk about some good pitching performances besides Wade Miley. Plesac in that game, 8 shutout innings, 7 Ks of his own. He's turning things around. Max Scherzer dropped a 14K spot on the Yanks. Momentum's only as good as the next day's starting pitcher, and that day it was Max Scherzer. Trevor Rogers on Friday was good. His ERA is under 2. His whip is nearly under 1. Kevin Gossman and the Giants pitchers just continue to be good. I don't know what... Mike Yastrzemski's mustache is cool. The pitching's good. I don't know what to say there about San Francisco. Carlos Rodon continues to roll 6 shutout innings, 8 Ks against the Royals. Alcantara versus the Brewers. Once again, the Brewers are going to have to scrape out more than 2 runs to win some games. Although Dan Vogelbach, I think, gives everybody hope that they could play Major League Baseball someday too and never work out at all. And I love that. Good for Dan Vogelbach. Let's root for him. Aaron Savali, 7 innings, 5 Ks against the Royals. Jack Flaherty was good as well against the Rockies. So was Adam Wainwright, we touched on. Sean Manaea, 10 strikeouts. How about the Sean Manaea and Huascar Ynoa performances too? Both of these guys pitching very well. I got to tell you, if I had both of them, and I don't have shares of either anywhere, I would have been very panicked in the beginning of the year, even when I saw good stuff. But now we're like 6 weeks into the season, so it's not a fluke.
Yeah, I'm buying both these guys, actually, to a degree. And I do have 1 share of Manaea, none of Ynoa, but that's just how it went. And the reason I have a share of Manaea is because his velocity was up pretty significantly in the spring. And when that happens, I'm intrigued and I want to see whether or not it's going to be real. This does look real. I mean, Manaea at one point was a guy who you could just put in your rotation and not worry about it too much. Everything looks kind of backed up right now with what he's doing. So I'm happy to buy again, not at the price if it's going to be crazy, but I still feel like for the most part, fantasy managers are not really buying Manaea. As for Ynoa, look, he just there's been like 1 bad start in his entire season. Other than that, he's just quality, consistent innings. I understand the Braves rotation may be getting, a little crowded at this point, but there's no way they're going to take him out. So yeah, I'm fine rolling with him. The only other couple guys from this weekend that I do want to notice, I do want to say, and you've been harping on this a while, especially without Yelich, and who knows when he's coming back, you just look ahead for when your pitchers are going to be facing the Brewers, because you can absolutely that is about as plus a matchup as you can get right now, given what that lineup is. Max Scherzer looks outstanding. I wasn't even fading him coming into the year, but I think just too low. I mean, he's amazing. And I will mention Plesac, who again is the victim of 2 no-hitters against this year. So he's already let's see how many he can do for the rest of the year. Plesac does look good. He has made a little bit of a change to his arsenal. He's learning a little bit from Shane Bieber. And again, Mike Mayer, my guy. I text him all the time. He's kind of a big Plesac guy. And Plesac, I'm slightly intrigued by Plesac. I'll be moving him up my starting pitcher rank. Still not going crazy over him, but he has made a bit of a change to his arsenal right now. And it looks better of late. So I'm at least intrigued by a guy who I've pretty much just been tanking on the whole year.
All right, we got some turnarounds for some hitters to talk about. Joey Gallo, 2 home runs Saturday. What up? I seem to remember this conversation, Dan Harris, too, about, yes, it was terrible. This is who Joey Gallo is. He's a streaky slugger. He's going to go on a run here. And and here's what I want to tell everybody. I want to bring him real close. Like, remember when Billy Madison took that kid by the hands and was shaking his cheeks? Now, listen, everybody. Remember how pissed off you were at Joey Gallo at the end of April? Now, listen to me. This is your chance. This is your chance to get rid of him, okay? You've held as long as you could. Now get rid of him on the hot streak or stop complaining. You can't do both. You can't have it both ways. Francisco Lindor heating up. We talked about him, 5 for 12 with a dinger, a steal. Ooh-wee, 4 runs, 4 RBI, very nice. And Adolis Garcia, 2 homers, a stolen base, 7 RBI. The guy is, listen, if you're the Cardinals right now, you have to look at the fact you let Adolis Garcia go. You let Randy Arozarena go. So the scouting has always been very good. And it's funny to me with the Cardinals because why are they letting these, highly athletic outfielders who seem to be pretty good at baseball just out of the system? And we keep waiting for these other jabronis to come through well, this is going to be the next guy. And it's Harrison Bader or it's this guy. I'm like, I'm watching Garcia. I'm watching Arozarena. I'm thinking to myself, somebody needs to swing for this if I'm St. Louis. Some scouting department guy needs to be you need to be looking for a new job at Dick's Sporting Goods or something.
I have a lot of trouble with Garcia because he's kind of the typical guy who I don't like. Okay, that's just what it is. He swings too much. He's got a 30.5% strikeout rate, a 54.3% swing rate. That's too high. That's not astronomically high, but that's too high. A 34.2% out of the zone swing percentage. That's too high. Not crazy. But yet he just continues to produce. And this is basically the point where you saw him go into a little bit of a lull where pitchers adjusted to him. Whether he's adjusted back or whatever's going on, he does just continue to produce. So it's a guy who I've kind of been completely off the radar. I'm like, it'll stop. Not really sure of that anymore. So I'm not buying him that he's going to be this impact fantasy player or anything like that. But DFS. I'm kind of buying that he is rosterable and somebody who you can probably start right now in the majority of mixed leagues going forward.
DFS. Those are the 3 letters for him because I don't know if he's a good season-long investment, but I know I want some shares, and when he's hot, I want those shares. That's it. I'm just keeping it simple.
That's fair.
All right, let's head over to the Peanuts and the Cracker Jack, see what they got to say this morning. Aaron Gillingham of the New Hampshire Gillinghams wants to know, someone dropped Ozuna in my league. Do I drop Robbie Ray for him? Ooh, Robbie Ray's been excellent. He's on a run, and I just talked about this yesterday morning, I won't say the last 3 starts, he's walked 1 guy or 0 guys, 20-something strikeouts. He's all of a sudden become very good low-key, and in terms of the one thing that's always troubled him, which is control in the walks. So I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm going to say no. As tempting as that is, I don't want to drop Robbie Ray for him. You need the starting pitching depth. I feel like you're kind of on board with that. I could tell from your nodding in approval. Yes,
no, you're incorrect. I'm completely in the opposite direction. We're talking Marcell Ozuna, right? I don't have this confused. There's no other
Marcell
secret
Ozuna.
Ozuna
the guy
that
who
we're
hits
talking
a
about right now.
$180 and then he'll hit 5 home runs and then
I don't care. All right, no,
over the next stretch.
I am nodding in the sense that I'm intrigued, but by Robbie Ray. I admit that because the lack of walks is something, and he's one of these guys who you look for a reason. I need to buy into Robbie Ray. Let me find a reason to do it because the stuff is good, and if he can ever harness it, that's great. But Marcell Ozuna is in a different. No, we're not on the same playing field right now. Drop Robbie Ray, even if it's intriguing to pick up Marcell Ozuna in a keeper league. Yeah, sorry, not
somebody else to drop. Find somebody else to drop.
If that's your only guy to drop, I'm doing it, and I'm not hesitating. I've done the thing before where I have bought into Robbie Ray only to be look at this, this looks fantastic, and then it goes that. So no, run to do that person.
He's got the scars of Robbie Ray. All right, somebody else wants to know: do you drop Who do you want rest of season, I guess, or who are you dropping? Willie Calhoun or Kyle Tucker? You can't drop Kyle Tucker. You can't. He's just.
What I just like we have said,
Didn't
like
I
Kyle
just say
Tucker.
this?
Kyle Tucker is the prototypical buy low guy, and I
Oh
hope that
yeah.
this weekend didn't ruin that possibility for you. He is going to be totally fine the rest of the season. Willie Calhoun needs to be rostered everywhere, by the way. Like Chris
Yeah.
Davis being back, it doesn't matter. I mean, he's playing great. He's leading off, absolutely not at the expense of Kyle Tucker. We're not in the same vicinity of who you should be talking about right now. Buy Kyle Tucker, buy, go.
All right, let's talk about Luis Castillo for a moment because I know everybody wants to talk about this.
Yeah.
Now, look, he's got a 6.42 ERA, 1.63 WHIP. I paid attention. Sometimes, I like to hear what's on the mind of the player, and through his interpreter, he was talking about how he's missing in the zone with his changeup, which is his out pitch, and he's not getting that ball down. And he said that's what's going on right now, and he just needs to work on that. Now, if you still want to buy low on Castillo, this is the perfect storm. Because not only does he have a 6 ERA, but I think his next start is in Colorado this week.
Yeah.
So, if you're the Castillo person right now, you're sitting there going, oh my God, and now I got a Colorado. There's no way they want to start him. This is your window. And I would even buy him, and I don't know if I would start him in Colorado. I might just keep him on the bench for the week until we see what goes on. But it wouldn't shock me if he goes to Colorado and gets right. Like, that's the way baseball has been so far in 2021.
Yeah.
So, Castillo is still a buy for me because he's healthy. And as long as he's healthy, I'm not worried about it. That's where I'm at, but this is the perfect storm. Charlie Morton, I'll take the L here on Charlie Morton. We take some victory laps, but this is going to have to be like an extra lap I have to take around the gym.
His ERA went down, man. His ERA went down. They were all unearned. Pass ball. Everything's fine.
I
No
don't
big
care.
deal.
No, it's no good. It's terrible, too, because Charlie Morton was so good in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
There was just no indication that this would happen, but
Yep.
I guess he just stayed at the dance a little too long. How do you want to defend your buddy Blake Snell? I want to hear this. 6 walks. What's going on with Blake Snell right now?
Yeah, I can't defend Blake Snell. Blake Snell, actually, of the three guys you just mentioned, is the guy I'm having the most difficult time defending. He hasn't gone more than 5 innings in like 2 years, and so we thought that's actually true. That's like, look it up. That's like 2 years. We looked sort of, I don't know. I don't have an answer for this one yet, but I do think almost that the inconsistency of his track record and just the way his control kind of comes and goes makes me more nervous about him than I am even Morton and Castillo. Now, I have him ranked ahead of Morton, of course, and I still will, but I'm more concerned about it. Morton, I'm really not that worried about. Like, it's just, to me, this just feels like kind of a rough start. I mean, I watched that game because I have shares of Morton, and obviously you can't write it off. They all are unearned because he should have been out of the inning. I think he lost focus a lot with that sort of thing where the pass ball got by and then he just let it spiral out of control. I don't see too much. His velocity is up. I think he is going to find it. So I am willing to buy low on Morton. As for Castillo, who, Joe, you and I both get a lot of questions about, okay? And I get it because we just kind of sit here exactly what you just said. You'd be like, yeah, I'm still buying low. And people are like, I'm not doing that. I'm not buying low on Luis Castillo. Look, his changeup,
baby. Do it.
His changeup, I'm still buying. I agree. I'm still buying. And again, Kyle, you're talking right. Maybe wait for him to get bombed in Colorado, or do it right before the Colorado start.
Now's the time.
Okay,
Colorado's looming,
that's
and
fine.
This is it now. This is your last week to do it. Because
That's
even if
fine.
he bombs in Colorado, you could still make the case as Colorado and just be like, okay, we'll figure it out.
And nobody wants to start him this week, right? So you can basically be like, look, you're not starting him. Right.
Exactly.
So, Joe, we just talked about the way nobody's getting any hits. You're right. He's got the great changeup. It hasn't been quite as effective as usual, but there's nothing that I look at in the changeup that suggests that it's a worse pitch. There are two things that jump out. Number one, his fastball and his sinker, they're just getting tattooed. Batters are hitting 412 off the fastball. Like, that's not going to happen. That's not what Luis Castillo is. Like, that's going to come down. They're also making an incredible amount of contact on pitches out of the zone. He usually sits around like 55, 56% on batters making contact on pitches out of the zone. This year, it's like 73%. Like, that's just going to normalize eventually. So, to me, everything about this just suggests it's a slow start. I'm really not that concerned about it. And I still am willing to buy low. And before everybody jumps on, there are times where you have to buy low on people, even if what you look at suggests that, like, oh, this person is actually performing terribly and it is earned. You still have to take the leap to buy low on that player sometimes if they've got a track record of performance, because every player, no matter how good he is, goes through a sustained period where they're in a little bit of a slump. unless there's an injury, like you said, Joe, I think Castillo comes out of it. I'm still buying low.
Fire rants this morning on
And
Monday
that's what we've
morning.
got
We
all
are
day
here,
long.
ready to
All day
go.
long.
You know what's funny? You know who actually knows about Snell and Morton? The Rays. You know, that should always be a red flag.
Yeah,
Whenever the
that's a
Rays
fair
send
point.
pitching away, we should all just
Fair.
notice. And I think going forward next year, we should all just remind ourselves that, hey, you know what? If the Rays don't like a pitcher or they're done with
Yeah.
somebody, there's a reason why. Kyle Hendricks, 4 earned against the Pirates. His ERA is at 6. You know, he has the most runs given up in the first inning of any pitcher in
Yeah.
Major League Baseball this year. That is
Yeah.
a stunning stat. I know Christian Javier wasn't great this week. I know against the Blue Jays. I get it. Blue Jays can hit the ball. I still love Christian Javier. I'm not going crazy yet. Dylan Bundy, not good. His ERA is over 5. Zach Greinke's going to be Greinke. Look, the Blue Jays are a good offense. So, you know, I don't want to like overstate that or understate. I just think the Blue Jays are good, and let's just, you know, call it what it is. Now, let's fly through the injuries. We talked about DeGrom. Look, you can't start him this week because he's probably not going to start this week no matter what, whether he goes in the IL or not. But I think it's pretty safe to say an IL stint is coming. Byron Buxton on the IL with a grade 2 hip strain. That's not good. That's a bad situation there. He's going to be out for a while. Dolis placed on the IL with a calf strain. Luke Voigt expected back Tuesday. Yay, somebody coming back. Colin Moran went on the IL. We talked about Brian Hayes getting a move to the 60, so that's a terrible thing for those shares. And Alex Kirilloff will test his sprained right wrist by taking swings. We'll see. I don't know.
Is it good, or did you hear that quote that they made? It's like, this could be really good. Like, if he takes swings and it feels good, he's going to be on the verge of coming back. If he takes swings and he feels bad, he's probably headed for surgery. This is like the most polar opposite thing that I've ever seen. And be like, okay, then great. I'll either expect him back next week or never. It's very bizarre.
It makes no sense whatsoever.
I'm very concerned.
But, you know, in a world of chaos, the one thing you can always count on is Manscaped. That's right. Because Manscaped's got the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. It is out there. It is ready. It is fabulous. It is real. So go to manscaped.com, use that code leading off, and you could get yourself a Lawnmower 4.0. It is glorious ceramic blade, skin safe technology, 4000K LED lights. I don't even know how bright that is. All I can tell you, if you break down the side of the road and you have to change your tire, you turn on that Lawnmower 4.0 and you could change a tire by that light. That's how strong that light is, okay? It's got incredible new guard lengths, size 1 through 4. So you can do the fade, which is always a good thing. You know, you got the chest hair. Maybe you want to rock the fade or some kind of design or something like that. Maybe you're going to a game and you want to be like the G in Giants or something like that. Boom, you get that lawnmower out. And all of a sudden, you're the G. And you go out there with your friends and you got the I, the A, the whole thing. And there you go, thanks to the lawnmower. So you can support your team and support the show with our sponsor. So once again, 20% off, free shipping, manscaped.com, code leading off. Get it done. Your balls will thank you. Dan, let's move on to a short but sweet slate in DFS tonight. We've got 6 games tonight. Cincinnati's the good chalk, obviously. Don't want to overthink this too much. Tyler Mahle is 8.9 on FanDuel, but 9.4 on DK, so a big price variance there. I would have thought it would have been inverse considering Mahle's K rate, so it's a little odd there. Once again, DraftKings pricing's kind of all over the place, but whatever. Garcia, the young pitcher for the Houston Astros, was intriguing to me against the Yankees. I watched that start. Very unique windup where he goes left, then he goes right. It's like watching a seesaw pitch. And then, honestly, there's really not a lot of places for secondary arms tonight. I'm going to make the case for Martin Perez, which is, I hate myself for even saying it out loud, but he's 7.3. It's a really good matchup against the Orioles. I just think I'm going to take the matchup play and take the win equity and try to get out of Dodge and maybe like just hope for the best. But that's where I'm looking tonight. There's a 4-outcome game we're going to talk about in a second. Maybe we'll pick some sides on that. But Mahle, Garcia, and Perez is kind of the 3 that I'm looking at. What are you looking at tonight?
Yeah, I think it's got to be Mahle. Like, for me, again, against the Pirates, I know they did rough up Kyle Hendricks, but you mentioned it, how rough Kyle Hendricks is in the first inning coming in. Mahle's been really solid pretty much the entire season. They go against Mitch Keller, who does have the propensity to just randomly throw out amazing starts every once in a while. So, we'll see about that. But they are favored, of course. The implied total for Pittsburgh is just 3.4. I don't hate Perez, by the way. I doubt many people are going to be on him. It's a short slate, though, obviously. So against Baltimore, wind looks like it's blowing in a little bit. And Jorge Lopez, there's great win equity. For Garcia, I think it's fine. And I like him actually as a pitcher. The only thing is that the Angels, forever, and including this year, they don't strike out that much. So the strikeouts are going to be a little, probably a little bit down. I don't hate any of them, but for me, I am going with Malley. I know he's kind of the chalk right now, but that's
yeah, but the good chalk. I mean, look at this Pirates lineup right now: Kevin Newman, Eric Gonzalez, Kaya Tom.
Yeah.
Todd Frazier. I mean, I don't know.
I get
it. Let's just do it. It's fine. There's actually some value there. The other thing is too, you're going to need some value because you do have Colorado and San Diego in play tonight in Colorado. So that's something you have to get into. But that Boston stack, Boston, Cincinnati, that's kind of the good chalk tonight we'll talk about. Pick a side here. Our boy Kyle Gibson, 9.5 on FanDuel. Very expensive, but 8.6 on DK against Alex Wood and the Giants, who's 8.9 on FanDuel, 9.8 on DK. Once again, it's like they don't like the same people tonight. It's very weird.
I know.
So you kind of almost want to go Gibson on DK and Wood on FanDuel and just kind of hope for the best, I guess. But this is a 4-outcome game. Gibson's pitched very well. So is Alex Wood. I don't know. There's a part of me that actually on DraftKings tonight wouldn't mind just going with both of these guys because this might be one of those 2-1 games and they both pitch well. One guy gets the win kind of feel. It's a 4-outcome game. There's no doubt about it. You want to dabble in this at all because it's only a 6-game slate. You almost have no choice, I feel like.
Right. That's the problem, right? Ordinarily, I'd probably avoid it, but given the slate, there really aren't that many places that you could go. I think both these pitchers are going to be fine. I don't mind, going with, Wood on FanDuel and Gibson on DK or whatever if you need to. But even going with them up against each other, again, on such a short slate, it's not the worst idea in the world. So I'll probably have one or both of these guys in some semblance of a lineup. But yeah, again, on a normal slate, I would probably pass. But given the fact that it's just 6 games, I think they're some of the better options. So one or both is definitely in play.
Don't play it in cash. Just it's a tournament play.
Yep. Correct.
Please, for the love of God, don't play this in cash. Play Molly in cash. Don't overthink it. Or if you want to go crazy, play Garcia or Perez and just load up in Colorado because Dinelson Lamet and Senzatella, I think, are pitching tonight if memory serves. So
I believe that's right. Although there is rain, Joe, in the forecast, so we'll see about that. It's 65% right now as Colorado, so monitor that for sure.
Which could only lengthen the start of Dinelson Lamet into this game. I don't even know how he's still out there.
That's what I'm saying. I can't believe Dinelson Lamet is still starting.
Am I the only guy looking around going, "Are you kidding me?" Right? Like this guy's still out there.
You kidding me with this? What?
All right. Before we get to the home run call tonight, I need closure. Do we have closure on our giveaway from the Ronald Acuna jersey yet or no?
We do have closure in the fact that we are having to redraw again today. All right, noon o'clock Eastern time is the redraw of the look, guys. This is the bottom line. Okay, there are a lot of people who have entered the contest, as Joe tells you every single time. When you enter one contest, you are automatically entered into a future contest. It is possible that whoever we are randomly drawing, again, randomly selected as a winner, entered a contest earlier, completely forgot about it, maybe doesn't even use the email address anymore, so we have no way to contact that person. So we are redrawing again today. Check your email, check your spam, just to make sure.
Yes, check it all. And if you'd like, get involved too, because even if you don't get drawn at noon o'clock, you could win a Vlad Guerrero autographed baseball thanks to our friends at Pristine Auction this month, the month of May. So all you got to do, go to fantasypros.com/MLB contest, go to Apple Podcasts or CastBox, drop a glowing review of the show, screenshot that bad boy, go over to MLB, again, fantasypros.com/MLB contest, upload that, fill out the form, and just like that, you're entered for the Vladdy Ball, the Acuna jersey, and anything else we're giving away the rest of the year. It's very simple. And please also go subscribe to that YouTube channel. We have set a goal for ourselves. Yep. We're going to try to hit 5,000 here at some point. That's our new goal because we already hit 3,500. We crushed that already. Now it's time for new goals because we never stop growing here. So if you haven't already, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Even if you listen to the podcast, subscribe because summer's coming. You might say, oh, look, I'm going to sit here by the pool this morning or on the beach and I'm going to watch a little leading off with Dan and Joe and have a couple laughs and get my baseball in. So go do that, please. Again, our YouTube channel is Fantasy Pros MLB. It's not the regular Fantasy Pros. You can go ahead and subscribe to both of them. Click that notifications button. And just like that, you're gold. Now, who is gold for tonight? Now I'm worried about my home run call with the weather a little bit. I don't know. But you know what? I'm going to pay attention and see if it gets rained out or not. And I'm going to be ahead, and I will announce a change on Twitter if I need to. But I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. It's Colorado. It's Senzatella. I'm going with Tatis Jr., and I'm just hoping for the best. That's what I'm hoping for. I need to get on the board. Dan Harris, where are you going?
I am avoiding that game because of the rain, just in case. I'm going to go to the other great spot, and that is with Boston against the Orioles. And I'm going to go with Rafael Devers for my home run call off of Jorge Lopez.
Now, I'll go on record right here that if Tatis gets rained out, Alvarez is my second in command. Okay? So if Tatis can't, I'm not gonna wait. I'm just gonna do it here because I was thinking about him anyway. Alvarez is my, if for some reason Tatis cannot fulfill his duties as Miss America, then obviously Jordan Alvarez will be the second there. All right, so that's that. Anything else before we part ways today, Dan Harris, that you saw over the weekend? I know Wander Franco has been red hot since starting the year. Some of those Reds pitchers down on the farm have been very good.
Yep.
Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo pitched very well. Anything else kind of popping to you right now?
I think the one thing that I do want to say is, because I see that there are a lot of questions about him in the chat, is Dylan Bundy, who you went through and obviously had a terrible start, and he's got over a 5 ERA. He's got a 3.09 expected ERA. He's got a 3.49 FIP and a 3.59 xFIP. I'm really not that worried about him going forward, so I am willing to buy him. I don't see all that much different than what we saw last year. So he's a guy who I haven't really moved all the way down my rankings. Again, I think his whip is 114 as well. So I'm really not worried about him. The only other thing I'll say is not about this weekend, but I will say this. Subscribing to the YouTube channel, right? Which is actually just clicking a button. You don't, it's not like you have to.
That's too much work. I can't
clicking a button. Or leaving a review for the show on Apple Podcasts. And I say this a lot, like, enter the contest, of course, that is great. But if you want to support the show, if you like the show, if you listen to it at all, you want to support us in any way, that's a really, really low effort thing you can do. Just click a subscribe button or leave a review. That takes 2 seconds to do. Things like that. And I know, again, I've said this before, when I used to watch videos on YouTube, or I used to listen to podcasts before I started becoming a podcaster, that I didn't understand just how much reviews and subscriptions to a YouTube channel mean to the people who do it, and how much they help the channel grow and the podcast grow. So if you do at all enjoy this, take the 3 seconds that it takes to either subscribe to FantasyPros MLB on YouTube, or to do it on Apple Podcasts or anything like that for a review. That's it. I'm done.
That's it. It's a nice thing to do. It's your good deed for the day.
Sure.
Everybody should do a good deed. That's yours. You get out easy. I mean, that's pretty good. You don't have to go, going out there and donating lots of money somewhere or doing something. No, good, very simple, good deed. And we want to give you free stuff for doing it. So, I mean, it's kind of like it's really
Win-win.
not a good deed after all. I was going to say, it's kind of selfish when you think about it. So consider it your selfish deed or your good deed. Whatever it is, just do it. We want to thank you, as always, for tuning in to the show. We'll be back again tomorrow to do it all again. That'll do it for us, but the story of the game goes on. For Dinger Dan Harris, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.